Riga, Latvia, a natural stop on any Baltic trip, given its location between Lithuania and Estonia. And so you might be thinking, how different can the middle child of these three capital cities really be? But we can confirm, Riga definitely has its own distinct character. The first thing this sweet little city is rightfully known for is its stunning Art Nouveau district, which has some of the most striking examples of this gorgeous architecture in all of Europe. Riga's historic center is compact and definitely easy to explore on foot, with winding cobblestone streets, colorful medieval buildings, and lively squares. And as always, food was a highlight. Riga also had some of the best pastries ever, seriously. And it also has a surprisingly strong craft beer scene. Riga also provided a super fun, spontaneous experience. It was a FIBA basketball game. 2.5 days in Riga gave us enough time to see the highlights and get into some of the more recent history a bit as well. We are in Riga, Latvia, and we're across the street from the famous Black Cat house. And there's a legend about this one, but according to our tour guide, probably not true. But the story goes that the wealthy business owner that lived or built this building, not German, and this was a German country or city at least for quite a while, he wanted to join the German guild or club across the street where his building faces. And because he didn't speak German or he wasn't German, they wouldn't let him in. So he put the cat on top of his building with the back end, with the tail up, facing the German club. And of course, this was not taken very well by the Germans. He refused to turn it around. And so eventually, supposedly, they let him into the club. And then he spun the cat back around, and now its cute little face is facing the German club building. Again, apparently this isn't true, but the cat has become really a symbol of Riga. You're gonna see it all over in souvenirs, but it doesn't seem to really have any actual meaning, other than being cute. All right, and now we're here at probably the most famous building in all of Riga, the House of the Blackheads. And ironically, although it is one of the most famous buildings, it's not original. Up at the top, you'll see the years. It says 1334, which was when the original one was built. But during World War II, it was mostly destroyed, unfortunately. So at the top, on the right side, you'll see it says 1999, which is when they finished rebuilding it. Of course, the Soviets didn't really want to rebuild it, so it was completed after Lithuania, Latvia regained their independence. So where's the name coming from? You're probably wondering. The House of the Blackheads, it's a pretty unusual name. So it comes from a guild that used to reside here, really. So it was mostly for, or only for, younger men who couldn't afford a place to live of their own. They couldn't afford to buy property yet, but they were part of this guild called the Blackheads. And so they were like merchants and ship owners and things of that nature. And the symbol was a black head. And this is coming from a saint who was actually from Africa, but died in Switzerland and was representative of, I don't really remember what, so maybe we can cut that part. Okay, so after double checking with some more research, it turns out this saint was named Maurice, and he was from Egypt. He was also a soldier in the Roman army, and he died as a Christian martyr in the Alps when the Roman army executed the legion he was commanding because they refused to kill a village of Christians as a sacrifice to the Roman gods. I'm not really sure exactly how that connects to the Brotherhood of the Blackheads or why they chose him as their patron saint, but now we know more about the man himself at least. And so let's move on, continue to something newer. Actually, technically older than this completed building, but newer historically. This will make sense later. Let's go. Also, one last fun fact. Apparently, the president lived in the house of the Blackheads for a couple of years. And I think it was like 2012 to 2016 while the presidential palace was under construction. So we are still in Riga's Old Town in front of some of the other famous landmarks here, the Three Brothers. We can really from here see like one whole one right behind me and then another half. Then there's a third narrow one next to it. This one that we can see the whole thing of, you can probably tell it's quite old, built in the style of around the 15th century, I think. However, apparently it's not actually original, and it's a bit of a no-no as far as authenticity goes, but it's an interesting landmark nonetheless, and it's connected to another building that's around 1600 or 16th century, sorry. And then next to that one, the skinniest one, is probably 17th century. But ironically, I think it's a cultural association or one of these types of associations that's inside of this 15th century style building is kind of the opposite of what the building represents. It's supposed to be keeping everything authentic, that you can only repaint, for example, historical buildings with a paintbrush so you can see the brush strokes, you can't use a roller, super authentic, and this building is not authentic. Imagine that. So we are now here at the Swedish Gate, which is one of the original items here in Riga. A lot of things were destroyed and rebuilt, but this is one original thing built by, of course, the Swedish when they were controlling Riga at one time. And this is, or was, the gate to the Swedish soldiers' barracks. So that was on the other side. The gate was part of the wall around the city. Then the soldiers could come through onto what other than Beer Street, the name of this street here. And naturally that generated noise. So we are here on North Street going this way. Speaking of beer, the craft beer scene in Riga was pretty impressive. One of our favorite spots was, I'm gonna try and get this right in Latvian, Kais Maisa or Kais Misa, which means cat in the bag. So naturally, we loved it. They also really do have a great selection of local beers, and we ended up making some friends, sitting outside, and had such a fun night. Two Beers, that's the name of the place, is right in the middle of Old Town. The must-order item on their menu, the fried rye. It is the perfect snack with a beer. Keeping with the bread theme, you guys, we had some of the best pastries of our lives. The pastries at Mikla Bakery are to die for. They were so good. Not only was the cinnamon bun literally the most beautiful cinnamon bun I have ever seen, it really was incredibly delicious. An 11 out of 10 in looks and taste. You must get one. Going back to the Freedom Monument for a moment, it represents, as you might have guessed, Latvian independence and freedom from foreign powers. It was built in honor of the soldiers who died fighting in the Latvian War of Independence against Soviet Russia from 1918 to 1920. Unfortunately, their independence wouldn't last, and Latvia was occupied and annexed by the Soviet Union again, starting in 1940. However, despite the symbolism of this monument, the Soviets never ended up destroying it or even taking it down. It just wasn't worth the uproar it would have created among the Latvian people. Yet another example of Baltic resistance and resilience. And finally, our spontaneous international basketball experience. When we realized some of the games for the FIBA Basketball World Cup were being played in Riga while we were there, we just had to check out ticket prices. The game itself was so fun. We weren't quite sure what to expect, but the level of production and spectacle was similar to that of an NBA game. And of course, the arena was full of fans from neighboring Estonia, and they were so enthusiastic, even after they lost to Turkey, who ended up going on to the final game. That does it for beautiful little Riga. It was a delightful second stop on our trip to the Baltics. We'll see you in Tallinn, Estonia next.
Nacionālais Nākamā pietura Nacionālā opera.